Good morning, it's Sunday. I thought I'd do my little video from the yard, from the garden, and sit and chat for a few minutes while I'm not hot and sweaty. Here's the garden. There's the boy. The zinnias started blooming yesterday. They're not the big zinnias. They're the little zinnias. I have the bigger zinnias planted in the middle, but there we go. It's officially summer because those are blooming. Here are the cabbages. I will be picking probably this one today. It's in the bed with the sunflowers and dahlias and Asiatic lilies, and there's a stream, jet stream, going across the sky. Wonder where those people were going. I always wonder that when I see jets or an airstream like that. Are they going someplace fun? On vacation? Are they going to visit family? Or has something tragic happened? I think about all those things. My perennial garden. My little rock garden. And sunflowers. All things out there. All of these are God's creation. I think about that every day, but today on this Sunday, maybe I think about it more. There's a weed I missed. Of course, I don't think God sees those as weeds, but I do. And more lilies and some cone flowers. Asiatic lilies are at the end of their beautiful part. Some daisies. My lisianthus are getting ready to bloom. Yarrow, peonies, oregano, thyme, squash, tomatoes, what have you, shadow. It's going to be hot today, very hot, so I have some planting to do before it gets too hot. Look at this. How in the world do leaves get to be so big and beautiful from one little seed? I see a squash I need to pick. I'm going to come and sit down here. The seat is wet, I do believe, but that's okay. Can't let a little thing like that get you. Just going to talk a bit about life. I think if I had to choose a name for this, today's would be called Life at Any Age. It's not just older, middle-aged, younger. The thing we have in common is that we are, if you're watching this, you are alive. You might not be in full force alive, you're probably at a different stage of life, but when you think about it, you know, we look at all the deficits of aging, but think back to when you were a baby, which you can't even remember. Babies come out, are born, they can't walk or talk or feed themselves or drive a car or make their own decisions other than to cry scream. Yet that's their age. When you're 9 or 10, we think, oh gosh, to be young again. You have the energy, you probably have the stamina, but do you have the wisdom to live a good life? Do you know who you are at age 9? No. One of the benefits of aging is that hopefully you develop into the person that you were meant to be. And I know it took me a good 40 some years to even get on the right path to that, to understand it. Now, I've met some kids younger these days who seem to have a better grasp of who they are than I did at that time. But still, they're not fully formed. It's like you hear chefs talk about depth of flavor, how you don't just want a one note in a dish. You might want a taste that's got a little bit of sweet, a little bit of sour, a little bit of salt. And when you're 9, 10, 11, 16, 15, whatever those ages are, I don't think all of your different notes are formed. And when you get to be, as we age, we pick up those notes as we go along from our experiences, good and bad. And we can, oh gosh, that's Winston, being Winston. We pick up those experiences and they form who we are. And I've heard, we keep being told to live in this moment. This is the moment. Don't look at the past. Don't think of the past. Don't think of the future. This is the moment, because no one is guaranteed 1 second more than what is. But our life is our experience. It is our past. And it is our future, if we're lucky to have one. So if we don't go into memory and draw on our memories, what do we have as a life? I look at gravestones and I see the year born and the year that they died. But what about all the years in the middle? Who was this person? What did they do? I recall one gravestone we saw where the man said something about he felt he was sorry that he didn't treat her as well as he should. And I thought that was about the most telling gravestone that I've seen in a long time. It actually said something about the person. But mostly the marker is just to say that a human existed. And perhaps to that family of that generation, or maybe the next generation, there will be memories. But after that, those memories fade. And I remember my mother always asking me when she'd have the kids or would do something, do you think the kids will remember me or remember this? And I'm like, good grief, of course they will, but why did that matter to her? But it did. And because she wanted to have a legacy of existence. And most people don't have that legacy. Memory fades within a generation or so. We become a name, we become a picture it used to be a photo album, but now it's probably online. But people don't really recall us because they didn't know us. And I find that interesting. And I think that in a way to me was freeing, in the sense that this is my life. Nobody really is going to remember me past my kids or grandkids. And if I want to do something, I want to do it for myself and not necessarily for another reason. And that is freeing. It doesn't, so we often think so much of what other people are going to think, and that's really of no consequence. If we don't look great in a swimming suit, we don't want to go swimming. Well, this is our life. If we feel like swimming and that would bring us joy, go swimming. If we want to go for a walk, looking a little bit sweaty and hot, and people are going to see us dripping in sweat, so what? Go for your walk. If you want to go on a vacation to some weird place, do it. Don't let other people guide you and what their opinions are, because what they think of you really is not going to matter. Now, you don't want to go around being a total asshat. They might remember that. I mean, we do remember the guy who killed Lincoln, Booth, John Wilkes Booth. We remember some of these bad people. We remember the name of the guy who killed John Lennon. I can't think of it right now, but I do know what, if I had to, I could think of it. But those people go down in history, and I don't think many of us want to go down in history like that. So the point I think I'm trying to make for me is I continue to learn that this is my life and this is my moment. But what I have in my past gives me full body. It has created how I see life, how I see people, how I understand people. The hard experiences that I have been through have changed me. They have made me more empathetic. There were about 2 years when I lost, I think, 6 or 7 members of my family. And I pretty much had a funeral outfit. And this was at a time when I barely knew that people died. I hadn't experienced death. But I learned to. I sat at deathbeds with people. It was hard, yes, but once you do it, you realize the value and the gift that you are giving not only that person but yourself. It's a gift and a blessing to be at the beginning of someone's life, and it is a gift and a blessing to be with someone when they're passing to wherever they go. Heaven, the great beyond, up to the big jet streams in the sky. And those are the things that are character builders and help you understand. And my garden teaches me those lessons every day. I see birth of a seed that is germinated. I see growth. I see infancy and the teenage years and middle age and old age within a span of a month. And the summer, and each of the seasons represents that too. The spring with rebirth, and summer with the energy of youth, and fall with quieter times, and then winter, which is a season that, I don't know, for me is quiet too, but in a different way. So the value of the garden and becoming who you are in life, it's incredible. As I sit here looking at this, I think this is the best of life. This is not France, the south of France. This is not Italy. This is not a feast somewhere with kings and queens and princes and whoever they are, or, the man-made royalty things. This is my life with God. This is my nature. This is my haven. I'm so grateful for it. This is my Appalachian Trail. It is my hiking trail. It is my soul and it is my heart. And it brings me great peace. And I hope that you find peace today, even momentary peace. I'm not always peaceful. I have a lot of moments where I'm wicky-wacky, or I'm not necessarily seeing the forest for the trees. My mind and vision get too small in the little nitpicky things, and that doesn't make me feel better. This does. This makes me feel connected to God, connected to you, connected to humans who sometimes I don't even care for. But I step back and maybe sit back and see this, and all is right with the world. And that's about as good as it can be. All is right with the world, and I feel grateful. And this little guy here is a blessing. And I wish you a good Sunday morning. I'm turning this around because I actually combed my hair and put my dress on. I don't know if you can see me. I have a dress. There are 3 camera holes there, and I don't know what's what. But I wanted to bid you adieu. Ta-ta and toodaloo. Blessings.